Nina stood in her bedroom, leaning against the window frame, looking out at the beautiful gardens below. Beautiful green grass, luscious, bright, neatly cut to perfection. She loved looking at the grass. She loved the color. She loved the smell it gave off when it was cut. She remembered hearing that the smell it made was actually the grass crying out in pain. She hated to imagine such a thing. Some things were best left unknown, I guess. After all, how could she ever justify cutting it again if she knew that that was true? Her most favorite part about the grass? When nobody was around, she would take off her shoes, walk barefoot on it, feel it caress her feet, feel all of its energy crawling onto her and into her. She would stand there, eyes closed, facing the sun, feeling its warmth on her face, feeling as though Mother Nature herself was blessing her, taking all her pain away, taking her worries, giving her love in return to take its place. Nina knew what love was. She saw it in everything she looked at. She saw it in how a bee delicately enjoyed the pollen of a flower, how the flower gave itself over to it, and in return, the bee taking only what's necessary, gently, leaving the flower unscathed, healthy, and comforted, knowing that it fulfilled a greater purpose. She saw it when she saw a bird bring food back to a nest to feed its babies, distributing evenly amongst all of the little blessings eagerly awaiting to be fed. Of all of what she had seen in her life, all of the movies, all of the relationships she witnessed, all of the stories that were told, nature showed her most of all what true love is. She looked away from the gardens. Turning herself away from the window, she caught the sight of herself, of her reflection, in a mirror that leaned against the wall next to her. It was a beautiful mirror. It was the biggest one she had ever owned. She looked at her face. Slowly, her eyes started filling. She knew it would happen. It always did. Whenever she really looked at herself, emotions came to the surface. One tear spilled out, daring more to follow it. She wiped it away. Come on, Nina. Think of the gardens, she thought. Think of all that you have. She looked around the room. She really did have so much beauty in her life. She heard the bedroom door open behind her. She looked in the mirror again and saw Michael walking in, coming towards her. Hey, babe, you ready to go? She put a smile on her face and turned around. I think so. This is okay, right? She said, displaying her outfit. You're stunning, always beautiful, he said. He leaned in to kiss her neck. He always avoided her mouth when she got made up. He didn't want to ruin her lipstick. I love you, he breathed out. You too, she said. He pulled away, looked at her face. Okay, I'll be downstairs. I'll start closing up the house. Okay, I'll be there in a minute. He went ahead, leaving her to her thoughts, leaving her to gather up her purse and the shoes that she would eventually slip on downstairs, leaving her to take a final look in the mirror and make sure that everything was in its place, and leaving her with this painful thought: he doesn't love me. I can read your mind. If you're not an INFJ, you're thinking, what is Mina talking about? Of course Michael loves her. I mean, he just told her that right now. He's crazy about her, and he thinks she's beautiful. But if you are an INFJ, you're thinking a bit differently, aren't you? You're thinking, Why does she think he doesn't love her? When he tells her that he loves her, does it not sound genuine? Does he show it in other ways other than words? Did he hurt her in the past? Maybe he had an affair that he thinks she has no idea about? Oh yes, the INFJ will have questions. The INFJ would want to sit down with Nina, pick every detail apart, explore all of her emotions, and most of all, the INFJ would understand. Because love is different for an INFJ. It isn't words, it isn't actions, it is a feeling. An INFJ can see it in someone's eyes. They can feel it in their touch. They can feel the energy of it swirling around them, seeping into them. But for an INFJ, the idea of love can be sad because most INFJs probably haven't felt truly loved. And how could they? People certainly love parts of them. People love how the INFJ can make them feel. They love how the INFJ can shift and do whatever is needed to have peace or success. They love that the INFJ is kind, thoughtful. Maybe they even love how smart they are. And I'll say this, they do love the INFJ. But the truth is, an INFJ's love is just different. It is all-encompassing. They see more and they feel more. And so can't we deduce that they love more, or at least more fully? You know that famous saying, if a tree falls in the forest, does anybody hear it? That's the best way to describe how the INFJ can think. If they don't know all of me, if they can't feel all of me, do they really love me? Can they really love me? It sounds impossible, doesn't it? The standards are just too high, aren't they? I mean, what can the INFJ really expect? They don't even show all of themselves. Nobody really shows all of themselves, but the INFJ more so. Of course, what they don't know is that the INFJ would allow it if they knew that they could handle it. The INFJ would show themselves to the right person, maybe even all of themselves. And you know what? Interestingly, the INFJ doesn't have those standards. The INFJ knows that they will probably never be loved the way that they love. Just like in the story, nobody will look at the bee on the flower and think what Nina did. So the INFJ lets go of that dream. And yes, it is a dream. I mean, isn't the thought of love dreamy? This can leave a void inside of the INFJ. It can leave them feeling unsatisfied, unfulfilled somehow. But there is a way to counteract it, thankfully. Ironically, it is to give love away. Give love to others. Spread it around with your care, with your thoughts, your well wishes, your words, your affection. Let it radiate out of you. And then just feel that love that you give out ricochet a bit back onto you. Collect love from all different places. Gather it up and delight in how much you are loved after all. Honestly, a part of me wishes that I didn't say all of this. A part of me wishes that I didn't set out to make this video. It shows part of what lies inside of the shadows within the INFJ. And truthfully, speaking for myself, I don't like to think about it. It's hard to think about it. But let me say this. This is why when an INFJ does find true love, they will never forsake it. They will cherish it. They won't gamble it. And it's also why when an INFJ loves, it feels so potent to the receiver of it. Because love for the INFJ is grander than what most could ever imagine. And this is why, once someone has an INFJ's love, they never want to let it go. And even if they do want to let it go in a moment of haste or in ignorance, eventually they will reflect on that and they'll miss it. They'll miss it dearly. But the INFJ isn't only love. No, they are so much more than that. And I'm thinking I've said so much about who they are through my videos this far, haven't I? How much more can I expose? Or how much more should I expose? I do think about this. Should I dive into the shadows more? Should I focus on the bright light within the INFJ? Well, we'll see. But I'll say this much. I hope that you all feel my love. I hope that when you listen to my words, little flecks of love fall off of them and land onto you. I guess that's just my way of feeling love. I'll see you next time. Take it easy.